everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Toronto, Canada. She's in the house bringing us information today about part two of how to become a happy millionaire. Oh, hello. Because I guess evidently there's some unhappy ones. Okay.
You wouldn't know it by watching, but it is because, life.
Life happens. So, Coach, I'm going to put you in the position of authority. There you go.
All right.
You now have the mic. And welcome, Coach Caren Fern, all the way from Profits in Daily.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Let me fixing myself in my chair, guys. Never mind me.
So if you're looking to bring those profits in every day, you need to take a time out to listen to what Coach has to tell us today. So let's hear from Coach Caren talking about Profits in Daily and how to become a happy millionaire. Coach, what you got for us today?
So today we're going to talk about inviting your future self in. She is important to you. If you think about it, there's some part of you that if you see your future self right now, you can't believe the things she's done. Never mind the things you're going to focus on that she didn't do, the things she has done, the things she got through, where she's at. If she had come to you, you might not have believed her. So that's what we're talking about. We're going to invite our future self in, and here's why. Invite your future self to the party. Tell her what you have been doing and ask her for advice. And
wow.
It's crazy, but she tells you. We don't believe it. I tell you, we don't believe our future self when she tells you. You always hear people say everything is going to be okay. And you're like, how are you going to know it's going to be okay? Because then the future self that is talking to you had experienced it, but maybe because they're grown and have the experience, they can tell you this. My future self knew I was going to be in Canada, even though I had no way and no contact and no reference of me being here. But I believed her. I believe we're going to do it one day. And although it took years, and this is why people give up, because when it feels like never ending, even when all the ducks is in a row and everything is set up, there's just one thing that was holding it. And for 8 months, I was in limbo. I even started deciding I might not come. So if that's the case, what's the next step? And I started looking into that. And the minute I took my eyes off of the focus of where I was going, I got the call. I went to get the stuff. And all of a sudden, it feels like everything started trickling down and happening all at once. Within a week, everything was ready. Ticket, everything seemed to fall into place. And believe her, invite her in, and then when she tells you what's going to happen, because you're going to ask the question, and yes, self is going to answer, and believe you that you can do it. Wow. Everything that feels hard is going to get you there. Mostly the soft stuff don't get you there. I promise you. I asked an accountant years ago. I was a teenager, about 15 or so, and I asked him, why he was doing what he's doing, because he was an accountant at a big firm, lost his job, different things happened to him. Life was hard for him. And he wasn't working per se at anywhere, but he would help anybody who need his services. He would go into businesses and just help them. And I would say to him, so why are you doing it? Because I knew at that point, he didn't need the money. He was okay, but he would still be using his gifts. He says, Caren, I see myself as an accountant first before anything else. That's what I see myself as. I see myself as an accountant before I start becoming an accountant. And before I became an accountant, before I studied, I knew I was going to be an accountant. His future self and him has decided that's what he's going to do. And when I started taking class in that area, who did I go to? This same gentleman to talk to him about it. And he said, it's a good profession. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn patience. You're going to do things that you don't think you could do. Sorry, guys. I turned everything off, but of course, this timer came on. I apologize.
That's good.
And this is something he did. This is the future self the present self and the self before he knew that it could really happen. And I think that's the hard part. When we can see it and touch it, and I'm that tangible, that sight, I want to know kind of person, I have to learn how to not let that take over my life. And it's a learning curve. The things you want to be, you can be. If you want a degree and it's supposed to take you 4 years and you know you can't, you don't have the time, give yourself 8 years and do it part-time. Give yourself the 8 years part-time. And sometimes nobody tells you this and you feel bad because everybody's doing it in 4 years or 3 years or 2 years. I want you to give yourself the time. I met a kid when I was in college and he was taking his courses part-time. And he came to one of our lectures and we ended up having a conversation. And he wasn't in my class because he's part-time, but he had to come in for the specific lecture. And I said to him, why are you doing it part-time? It's going to take you so long. Meanwhile, I'm the speedy girl. I did my, 2-3 years in less than 2 years because they had an accelerated program and I took it. And he said, Caren, budget-wise, I have to work. I cannot, I have to work full-time. And this is the only way I can do it. And here's the good news. He started. And because he started and because he came to a lecture and because he met me and other people, because I wasn't the only one who would encourage him, within the next semester, he's able to come full-time because we give him tools that he didn't know was available. We help him, but he had to start to meet us. You see, he had to believe his future self that he can do this so that he could start so he can meet us. Myself, Paula, another girl named Caren, and we sat him down. We said, you can go to the job. It's a government job, and you can tell them what you want to do. They'll pay half of it. That's for certain, we know. And they might even cover the whole thing. And he went in, and he applied. He got letters from our professors, and they paid for it. He got to come full-time, work on the weekends, and a couple days a week.
Wow, that's good.
But that's because he started. He believed his future self. So guys, if you want to start a business, before I get into anything, let me say this quickly. If you want to start a business and you haven't started yet, believe your future self that you can. If you're in a business and you feel stuck and you're not making any money, take a good look at yourself. What is working? What is not working? What you really and truly want to do. If nobody else is doing it, then do it.
Okay.
Please. I started a YouTube channel. I got stuck because I wanted to teach a certain thing, but I realized I know what I wanted to do, but part of me, I'm telling you this, and I'm being so transparent right now. Part of me didn't want to share this part that I am sharing, how I become, where I'm at, the struggles. That's what my YouTube is about. Helping people see what happens to you as a coach, the raw, that is what I'll be sharing there. This is taking people through the journey of becoming, of being. And even while you're there, what happens? That's what I want to talk about. I don't want to dress it up. I don't want to fancy up. So it's going to be simple editing. Nothing big. No, simple. Because it's going to make me move. It's going to make me do. And maybe later I change it up. But that's what I want to start me off. So I'm telling you this as I do the same thing.
All right.
Just get up and do it. Just get up and do it. So what will it take for you to believe in you? So that was a little speech about believing in you. Okay, guys? What will it take for you to believe in you? And you don't have to believe in the whole you, just one toe, one finger, one hand, some part of you. I get to like a part of you that you can relate to when everything happening and falling down. I believe I love my legs. Like I've got nice legs. And so I like my legs. I know it sounds crazy, but I do. And so when I was dancing and it was bigger than most people's legs, I was able to say, I like my legs. And my teacher said, if you could do everything with those legs, then it's your legs, do it. And so all the things that usually a dancer wouldn't be able to do because I got a lot of legs, I was able to carry myself, because no matter how slim I get, I got legs. And I'm like, they're not going anywhere. I love my legs. I'm keeping my legs. That's what we do with my legs. And it's not like you can get rid of what you have, but it's just, if you start embracing it, it doesn't feel like this extra thing. Or if somebody says something to you, you wouldn't be worried about it because you're done in love with it already. It's part of you. Okay. One day at a time. One day at a time. That's
I like that.
One day at a time. One step in front of each other. I'm going to keep bringing this up forever, I guess. 84 days. And I told myself, Karen, one day at a time until you get there. Mark it off. From the 1st of October to the 23rd of December, you're going to walk for 45 minutes. You're going to read a book for half an hour, one for pleasure, one for business, and you're going to drink 2 glasses of water, and you're going to be present and grateful. And you're not going to let nothing bother you. You're not going to complain. And you do it one day at a time. Every day you do it. I put a little sticky note that I did it, and I tick it off. One thing, just figure it out and do it. Then number 2 is what would you have to do to believe in you? Again, I give you a little idea of what you got to do to believe in you. The only way we believe in ourselves is by doing the thing that we got to do, that we get to do, that we want to do. I'm going to let Terry give you an example on that. Go, Terry.
you know,
Terry in here.
I love to just watch Hallmark mysteries because they're cozy. I don't like a lot of gory stuff.
Yeah.
But I like little, quirky mysteries.
Yes.
I also love puzzles. I love to do jigsaw puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that on my iPad
Oh,
because I hate it when I lose the pieces.
I didn't know I could do it on my iPad.
Yes, they have an app. There's an app for that.
Okay.
It's,
I like the physical puzzle, but I didn't know I could do that. So when I'm not physical, I could do that. That is
yes, and I like to listen to books.
good. Okay.
So those are 3 things that I love to do, and I try to make sure that I make some time in the day to do that.
Good.
Because it brings me joy. It makes me smile. I don't have to leave. I don't have to be in a particular environment to do it, and so it's cool.
And that, what Terry's saying there to you is when you start doing those little things for yourself and you're feeling your feelings for a long time. When it first came online,
Relaxed and joyful. Yes.
Yeah. When it first came online, people say to me, people don't really buy things about your feelings. Nobody want to do that. They just want hardcore. But everybody who does hardcore realize at some point they have to get in there and feel that feeling. Because if you don't and you don't embrace
Do the work.
it doesn't work. It breaks you down. It takes away from all the things you build. Imagine you building something for 6 months and you didn't care. You disregard your feelings or whatever is going on. And at the end of the 6 months, you can't do much. You can't even deliver what you've been working on. I watch so many YouTubers who talk about this, who worked to the butt, had a product, setting it up, and at the end, they got sick because they weren't dealing with whatever it is was there, whatever feeling they were feeling. They weren't talking it through. They weren't getting it out. They were just figuring out how to do this thing. And a lot of people come to YouTube. I don't think the more I watch the pattern, I watch a lot of people come to YouTube, myself included, I'm realizing, so that we can get it out of, we don't have to talk to anybody. We can just tell the public what is happening. Have a community of people who understand this and can relate to it, to talk to about it. Because there's so many people who is by themselves and want somebody to talk to about certain things. There's people who live in far away who don't have a neighbor. That's their choice, yes. But they still want a community of people in some shape or form. I remember I had a store in Etsy used to sell pajamas, night dresses, the robes and stuff. And I had this client. We end up emailing, talking to each other. She purchased, I think, twice from me, but was mostly about the conversation. I realized within the third email, I was like, it's the conversation. She literally wrote me a physical letter at one point, explaining how the robe was so cozy and she feel like she knew me. And we talked about so many things. And she realizing that she really want to get into this cozy business, but she was afraid. And seeing me doing it help her to see that she can do it. You never know who you're helping.
That's true.
And would I feel a way if this is something she want to pursue? I like, no way. I have people who camp contact me and talk about camping. I don't know anything about camping, but just to have that conversation, I made them camp in pajamas. Something I would never even think about. People send me their own fabric. Like, I'm going to tell you, Terry, I was in disbelief. A girl sent me, called me and she said, can I send you my own fabric? Because I'm camping and I want a certain color so I can be with nature.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And she sent it to me. I made her pajamas. We stayed in contact for a little while before she left Canada. She said, Caren, I was so warm and cozy. I ended up making her like, I think about 3 pajamas.
Oh, wow.
Because
Wow.
people want to build relationships with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize what you're doing. Now, in my head, when I started pajamas line, I started pajamas line because I like pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find pajamas for my son when he was younger, and I started making him pajamas. That's how I get into pajamas. And I love designing them. I love working with the fabric. I didn't know I would reach people to that level. It was just, you're going to wear pajamas and feel nice. No, it was more than that. It was camping. It was living far away. It was quality. It was people talking to me they want to do something like it, but wasn't sure they can. Talking about pricing, talking about turn this into a whole business. I'm telling you, you reach so much people when you start looking after you, when you believe in you, when you do the things that you doubt that you can do. Your future self don't tell you can do it, right?
Yes.
But you're arguing with her or him
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
about it.
That's so true. We talk ourselves out of things.
Yes. When I started making pajamas, I was in the midst of doing whatever I was doing, still had the other business going. And I met a girl. My husband dropped me wherever he was going, and he needed a car for work. And I met a girl on the bus, and she said to me, Caren, I've been looking for you. I lost your number.
Oh.
And I was like, why? She's like, there's something happening, and I think you should be part of it. Because she had known I used to make pajamas. And she said, well, you're going to have to do a lot of inventory. And Terry, it took me a month. It took me a week to decide. My future self told me I could do it. I didn't believe it, but I still design, cut, and sew 400 pajamas because that's what my future self said I could do. So I had to live up to her expectations.
Wow. That was some serious sewing. Yeah.
Serious sewing. Serious sewing. But by the time I hit my stride, I think by 60 pajamas or 100, I was like, I started learning skills that I didn't know I have. I knew how to put together pants so fast. I could put a whole pajamas together, a whole pants in 15 minutes. The top took me longer, 30 minutes for a top. I was moving, Terry. I didn't know I had that kind of speed, you understand?
For real.
That's what happened when you listen to her or him, when you start figuring out what you can do. And number 3 is, what kind of life are you planning on? Like, when you listen to your future self, the kind of life you could have, you might be sit down daydreaming about it for a long time, but did no action steps to get you any closer to it. If you listen to her, you can do it. Because you'll be minding your own business, you'll not be as distracted, and you got a place that you're going to. I get to look around and say, this is the life I've been dreaming to give myself years ago. You know, and when I want something, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. Like, when I want something that wasn't in my money budget to do it, I sit with myself and I ask myself how I can get it done. Because in those days, when we first buy this house, you know, we work it, we bought a house. We never owned a house. We rented houses, but we didn't know what it took to keep, maintain, and do stuff for this house. So when contractors give us a budget, we are like, we don't have that kind of money. Because I had owned the daycare at the time. My husband worked where he worked. My kids were young, and I got them in other activities. I was like, how is this possible? I know I didn't want the carpet on the floor. I know I didn't want to do what have you. I had the daycare, and I just started in the pajamas business. I didn't start this big thing that I just talked about. And I said to my husband, we're going to do the living room. So I went ahead. I measured the living room. I never measured flooring before. And I went to Home Depot. I asked how much I would need. I got a few quotas. I got people to tell me how much it's going to cost me to do it. And I said, okay, if I rip up the flooring, I'm going to save X amount of dollars. And I can put down the flooring. And my husband keeps saying, Caren, you've never put down flooring. How are you going to put down the flooring? And I was like, I can put down the flooring. Guys, let me just tell you right away. If your floors are not even, putting on flooring is not easy. So I end up paying a contractor to put down the flooring. But I paid less because I put up all the carpet, all the remnants, all those paint, all that stuff, because it just wasn't in our pockets to do at the time. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to take any one of my kids out of whatever they were in to do that. I wanted to be able to do the things we were doing. That was my
Okay.
goal. And I wanted to not go out and get a job to supplement it.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something you can do. Yeah. And the guys were great. They came, they got it done within a day. I questioned them to death. I asked them a bunch of questions because I knew I got 3 more bedrooms to do. And this office I'm in, I needed to get done as well. And I couldn't financially support that. So I told my husband, I said, I'm glad they did the living room, but I am doing the bedrooms, all 4. We're going to start in my office because if it's messed up in here, this is my sewing room at the time. We're fine. My sewing slash daycare, whatever is happening in this room. And I said, he said, you're crazy. We wired the floor in and I put down the floor in. My son, my husband cut and we put the flooring down. My future self said I can do it. So I went ahead and do it. You understand? Okay.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
So when I look around, I get to watch in my home. I paid for some things. I did some things. I paid for some things. I did some things. And this didn't come because I bought this house. When I rented my dad's house, I painted, I wallpapered, I changed the faucet. I did curtains. I did quite a few things that started
Mm-hmm.
giving me these skills. When I moved from my father's house and I rented an apartment, again, I did a lot of upgrade in the apartments. And I have people say, why would you do that in an apartment? I will, because I live here. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was bringing skills to the table. And so I want you to know you bring a lot of skills to your business and whatever you have going on, even when you don't see it yet. When me and my friend opened the daycare, again, I designed a whole daycare layout because by then I had figured out some things and I had literally taken a course. Again, forget I took the course, but dive back into that experience. And I was able to design the daycare that when people walk in, Terry, people people come for an interview and they leave signing the contract. They just love how things were set up. They love the design, simple things because they feel at home. They feel the kids had enough things to keep them occupied.
Yes.
You know, one of our big selling points is we didn't have any TV in there, so their kids were strictly on a program to elevate themselves. Something a little extra than other daycares were given at the time. I'm sure all
Mm-hmm.
that is there now, but you know. And my partner was a child psychologist, so she was going from that part, and I was coming in as someone who was a daycare manager, so I was going from the management situation, and we did a good job in having a waiting list. I mean, when we opened our daycare, we were filled, and we had a waiting list.
Mm-hmm.
So why I'm saying all this is with the life you want. If you listen to your future self, you can have it. You can work a little bit for it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not those people who's gonna. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna work for it. You're gonna take your experiences, all the great things that you know to do, all the things you think you don't know to do, but you might. You're gonna try them out. You're gonna fail like crazy. Learning curves. That's what they are. Your
Mm-hmm.
failures are learning curves. That's all they are. You just learn. Terry and I last week learned how that Microsoft has changed up some things in the slides, and we learn what to do because we poke around. That's it.
Yes.
We
It.
poked around and we learned some things. So we know the next time around what to do. You're just
Mhm.
learning. If you set up your business and you don't know social media, give yourself 30 days and learn all you can on Instagram about Instagram. But don't just sit there and read and listen to videos. Do what they tell you. Go
Mhm.
try it out for yourself. Get on Canva. Do a little bit of design. Take what is there until you find your style. Take some time with a notebook. Go sit down and write about anything you feel like that contributes towards your business and you. Turn it into whatever you think it needs to be. 30 days, and you're going to surprise yourself because you are learning about you. That's it.
I like that. 30 days. Okay.
3 days. And then once it's good and you love it, Do it again. Do it
Mm.
again. You see,
Mm-hmm.
when you don't have a goal that you're reaching to, it's kind of hard. So when you know it's 30 days, this is what you're doing for 30 days for your business. I want to see my Instagram grow. And this is what I'm going to do for 30 days. This is what I'm going to do for 60 days. This is what I'm going to do for 90 days. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
want to see my Facebook do. This is what I'm going to do for 30 days. That's what I'm going to do for 90 days. I want to start a YouTube channel. I want to post every day. No, I want to post once a week. And then when I'm good at posting and editing and all that wonderful stuff, I'm going to do twice a week. If that's what you want to do. Little bits at a time. And then you're going to watch yourself living the life that you planned on. You know, I tell people when I first started making a menu, it was just for a week. Then I started
Uh-huh.
making a menu for a month. Then I would make a 90 days menu plan. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner with a snack in between.
Wow.
Prep my food in advance. My life runs smoothly because I plan ahead, guys. My life got interruptions like everybody else's own. Things don't always go great, but because I plan ahead, a lot of things goes well.
Wow. I like that. I think sometimes we feel overwhelmed because
Hmm.
once we start planning, then someone comes along and says, and you should do this.
Yes,
And, this is new. And so we get distracted by all
yes,
these shining objects
for sure.
when something is really working for us.
Yes, and anything that is new. This is the thing. When you got a shiny object, get it down there. Put maybe you want to write that down. Shiny object syndrome. This sounds shiny. Put it under the sun. The shiny syndrome, right? Put it there. Put it for. I'll call it the things I'm going to tap into later. The things I'm going to look at later. The reason people tell you don't do all social media is because what they're really saying to you, learn one first, get good at it, and then add the second one to it. And then add the third one. The things that you're trying to do all together doesn't work because you become, as Terry says, overwhelmed. I wrote in my friend's group the other day the 5 by 5 that I live by. And it sounds a lot when I wrote it out, but it's not really hard. 5 things for myself. I'm going to tell you quickly before we leave here. 5 things for myself, 5 things for the family, 5 things for business, 5 things for fun, and something else I had the 5 things for. And the reason I do it that way, and some overlap each other, by the way, guys. At the end of the day, I know it's done. Now, if it wasn't done, that's okay. I don't go beating myself up for it, but most of it gets done because I said I'm going to do it. So for business, it's sales and marketing. And my eyes is on that price because that's my cash flow, right? And if I'm creating something and if I'm working on my website, then that's part of the parcel. And my timer is my friend. If I'm going to work on my website for the next 2 hours, I put on a timer. And for the next 2 hours, I do it. I don't
Mhm.
worry that I'm not on Instagram and I'm not on Canva. I don't worry about that stuff because I allotted 2 hours to do the website. And I said in 2 weeks, it'll be up and running. Let's say that was my
Yes.
point. If a day I didn't do it, I said, okay, so I'm allowing myself grace because I'm investigating. I might be doing some research. I didn't like some things. I want to change something. I'm giving myself that time. And same for you. If you're going to be doing Instagram, let's talk about that again. For the next 30 days, truly, you got to write your story so you can do Instagram. You got to do your graphics and your story with your words. And you're going to decide on some things you really want to talk about that pertain that lead back to your business. Remember, it has to lead back to your business. You're building a
Mhm.
website, you're getting a YouTube channel going, you have IG. Why? What's the story behind it? Why? You hear about your why, but rarely why. Why
Mhm.
am I doing it? And I often tell people if you're doing it because you want to make money, do not listen to people. Write it out. I'm doing it because I want to make money.
Mhm.
Then you could put the other things behind because there's no point in saying I don't want to make money when you know fully well you need to make money to pay your bills.
There you go.
My why is I want to make money, not for my children, my grandchildren, my daughter. No, I want to make money. And they get the benefit of the monies that I make. That's it.
Wow. Okay, so now we know to become a happy millionaire, we need to listen to our future self.
Invite your future self in. Invite her in. Do not throw her away or him away when he's knocking at your door telling you.
You
We
can
all know
do
we wake up and we hear ideas and we're like, no, your future self is giving you a hint. Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
this. You might want to try this. Mhm. You can do this.
Yes.
You can sew 400 pajamas.
Anytime I tell people that, like, wow, I'm like, yeah, I shocked myself, but I was excited, and that was a story I get to tell people when they come to my booth. Terry, I get to tell
Mhm.
them it took me this time to sew it, how I design it. People love that. Most people that stop at my booth, by the time we're finished talking, I would sell most people 1 to 3 pajamas. Very few people bought one.
Wow.
Very few people bought one because it was handmade. The inside was as clean as the outside. The design was beautiful. The fabric felt luxurious.
There you go. Oh
And I
my
have a
goodness,
story too.
guys. Listen to your future self. It's telling you you can do this.
You can do
You can have what you're dreaming of.
this. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Coach, we just love it. We love it. So invite your switch yourself in,
Yes.
and we've been talking about becoming a happy millionaire.
Millionaire.
This
Yes.
is part 2,
Yes.
and we invite you back for part 3.
Yep.
Remember, Coach Caren can be found at Profits in Daily. So if you're looking for her, you can find her on Facebook at Profits in Daily, on Instagram. And also, you know what? If you're looking to set up an appointment with Coach Caren, there's the link. Give her give her a text, contact her, tap into that link and set an appointment. You just need to have a talk sometimes with someone who understands that you have a future self that's been talking to you.
Uh
Oh
huh.
my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now remember, guys, if you want to become a part of BizChicks, you can simply text biz to 33777, or you can join us over there at bizchicks.net. We'd
Yes.
love to share with our community what it is you do and how you serve. Coach, we love you.
Thank you. I love you
We love you. We love you. We love you. And
guys
guys, and we know that you grow to love Coach Karen also. She's done so many wonderful things and has such great stories that will inspire you. So come on back for part 3 of how to become a happy millionaire.
too. Yes.
Thank you again, Coach, for
You're
all
welcome.
that you do. And we're going to sign off, guys. And we wish you all the best of everything. Have a
Yes.
great day.